Good morning, all of you.
Good
Morning, sir.
morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
We have stopped in the last class, I think, at this slide, recorded of it. And now, yeah, we also done this. And yeah, this also we have discussed. Future value compounding. Yeah. Time value adjustment. Time value adjustments mean we convert either present value into future value or convert future value from future value to present value. So these are the time value adjustments. Two most common methods of adjusting cash flows for time value of money. So compounding. Compounding is the process of calculating future values of cash flows. It's mean converting uh, present value into future value. And discounting. Discounting is the process of calculating present value of cash flows. It's mean so convert future value into present value. Right. Future value. So they are compounding. Compounding is the process of finding the future values of cash flows by applying the concept of compounding interest. Right? Compounding interest mean so normally in banks they pay interest on principal. The first interest will be paid on principal amount only. The second year they will charge interest on principal plus interest. Then the compounding includes both principal amount plus interest amount. So that amount it will can be treated as principal amount for the uh, beginning of next year. Compound interest is the interest that is received on the original amount. That is called the principal amount, original amount, as well as on any interest earned but not withdrawn during early periods. So, say for example, you have invested 1,000 rupees into HNB. So we will do in Excel sheet. That will be clear for you. Right? Say you have invested in right. You invest 1,000 rupees today at the year one. Year one, you invest rupees 1,000, right? End of year two, right? End of the year one, you have invested 1,000, and end of the year two, say for example, assume that the bank pays 10% of interest, 10% of interest. Then the first year, end of first year, I mean, yeah, you have deposited. Say for example, on 1st of January, you have invested 1,000 rupees at rate of 10%. Then you will receive after 1 year how much? This amount plus interest. How much interest? Interest how much? How much interest? First year interest.
100.
100. Very good. 100. Right? Then altogether you will get 1,100. This is the bank balance at end of year one, right? At rate of 10%. And year two, end of year two, how much you will receive as interest? Total amount, account balance. Your account balance. How much account balance at end of year two? How much? If you deposit 1,000 rupees. a 10% interest rate. How much? Dylan, you know that? Dylan Madhushanga, you know that? Right. Let's discuss. Right. So they will charge interest on this 1,100. Right. Say, for example, yeah, 1,100 into exactly we will get 1,210. Who said? Albert said. Misfa said, correct. Right. So the principal amount will be 1,100 at the beginning of second year, and end of second year, the account balance will be 1,210, and third year will be how much? So this amount will come as principal amount, and right, this amount will become a principal amount. This time you will get interest as, so this amount into 1.1, right, like that. This is called compound interest. It means the bank pays interest on the interest plus, sorry, principal original amount plus interest. That's compounding interest, right? Assume that you are not withdraw the money. Withdraw mean at the first year, beginning of the first year, you have deposited 1,000, and you keep the account for 1 year, and then withdraw interest. Again, it will become interest is your principal amount is 1,000. Again, second year, if you withdraw the interest, again the principal amount is 1,000. This is called, but this is not coming under the compounding, right? So there are two different things: compounding, yeah, compounding interest rate and simple interest. Right? Compound interest is the interest that is received on original amount, principal, as well as on any interest earned but not withdrawn during early period, right? So no withdrawal during that period. Then we will discuss about a simple interest. Simple interest is the interest that is calculated only on the original amount, only on principal amount, but there's no compounding of interest take places, right? Simple interest mean the bank calculate interest only on your principal amount. In this example, you have initially deposited only 1,000, right? Then every year you will get interest 100 every year. But in the case of compounding, the interest has increases over the time. Here the interest was 1,100 rupees, right? And year 2 your interest is 210 rupees, right? Sorry, 110 rupees. Then your interest is 100 and how much? 131 rupees, like that, right? This time your principal amount was 1,000 rupees, and this time your principal amount was 1,100, your principal amount 1,210, right? If you deduct this account balance, this is your account balance, this is your investment at the beginning of first year, then this is the difference is your interest. In the second year your account balance was 1,210, interest was 110, right? So like that. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. So not Mr. Ms. Niswa, to make it correct, right? So this is called compound interest, compounding. Simple interest means simple interest. So they pay interest only on principal amount. So this time interest will be 100, again 100, again 100. Forever you will get 100, right? Then your principal amount, they then your account balance, finally your account balance 1100, 1200, 1300, not 1300. Yeah, right. Yes, right. Then your account balance, principal amount of all the times 1000. So this is under the scenario of simple interest, right? So the major difference is compounding interest. They charge interest on principal plus interest, but in simple interest, they will charge interest on principal amount. See the differences. At the first year, both in both ways, they are getting the same amount, right? In the second year, a simple interest 100, but in compounding, they are getting 110. In third year, simple interest 100, but in the compounding 121. So it's constant. Simple interest is constant, but compounding is increasing, right? It's compound. So there are two different types of interest: compounding interest and simple interest. Normally, the bank pays interest in compounding, right? Now we will discuss how do we calculate a future value for the prolonged period of time. So you can do it manually for 5, 10, 20 years you can do, right? It pays interest on every year, every 12 months, right? Sometimes there are banks, they pay interest on quarterly basis or semi-annual, semester basis, right? Semi-annual, every 6 months. And every month and a daily basis, monthly basis, daily basis, weekly basis. So that time, so it is very difficult to find compounding interest manually, right? The general form of equation for calculating the future value of a lump sum, lump sum means the total value you will receive, n periods, number of periods, may therefore be written as follows. Here future value fn, so future value equal p is a principal amount. In our example, the p was 1000 rupees, and 1 means 1 plus I means rate of interest, and the power number of periods, right? the term the term 1 plus I n is the compound value factor, right? Compound value factor, CVF, of a lump sum of rupee 1, and it always has a value greater than 1 for the positive I interest, indicating that compound value factor increases as I and n increases, right? So you can use table, right? You can use future value table. No need to calculate manually every time, so you can read. So you can use Microsoft Excel to calculate future values, right? The rate of interest, number of premium, payment, the future value factor, the type. So it's a beginning, end of the period like that. Rate is interest rate, and the number of periods, PMT annuity value, so present value. So 1 for beginning of the period and 0 for the end of the period. It's not relevant for you. If you have time, you can practice at your home, at your own risk. right? Now we will discuss one example, right? If you deposited rupees 55,650 in a bank which was paying a 15% rate of interest on a 10-year time deposit, it's a fixed deposit, how much would the deposit grow at end of the 10th year, right? So we need note it down. You want, so you have 55,650 today, right? Today you deposit 55,650 in a bank. It pays 15% rate of interest, right? For a 10 years of time. Now, according to the formula, P is 55,650. Yeah, this is the P value, P. Principal amount 55,650. R, the rate of interest, it is 0.15, right? 15%. And the number of periods, N is equal to 10 years, right? Now, let us work out how do we calculate the future value of this amount. First, find out the compound value factor at 15% for 10 years, which is 4.046. Multiple 4.046 by principal amount to get the compound value. Anyhow, the answer was 225,159.90. Right, we will work out on usual basis. Now in this example, principal amount P. Before that, I will copy the formula. Okay, this is your and this is the formula. So future value equal Fn, future value, F future value N. In this example, 10 years, right? N equal 10 years. Principal amount is 55,000. 55,000. How much? 55,000. 650. 50 rupees. Rate of interest 15%. Right? Now we will apply this formula. Right? Yeah. Uh, P equal, P value is, right? This value is a P. Right? So P and 1 plus R. 1 is 1, right? 1 is 1 plus R. Not R is some, in this example it's called I, right? I. Rate of interest, interest rate. I is 0.15. 0.15 and the number of period is 10, right? Clear? Right? This is P 1 plus I into number of periods, right? Here you can find 4.0456. right? 4.0455, right? So we can round it. The same value we can obtain, right? Then this value into the CVP. How much answer? So today you have invested 55,650 at rate of 15% for 10 years. End of 10 year you will receive, and future value, right? Future value after 10 years, it's equal this value, right? Check the answer with slides, right? Both are correct. Same answer, I think. 225, right? Any questions? Any questions? If anything is unclear, you can ask. Heshan, Heshan, you know there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, clear.
Yes, clear, sir.
Okay. Now let's move to another slide. Next slide. Right. So we have calculated 4.4, 4.4, so 4.046. So we have calculated in Excel, right? Excel on in calculator also you can use. Using calculator you can find this value also, right? So this value, this 4.40 yeah, 4.046 is called present value, sorry, future value compound value vector. Compound value vector, right? So compound value vector at 15% of interest for 10 years is 4.045, right? Now we will discuss about annuity. Annuity mean a same amount of money you deposited for a equal period of time, right? You deposit a same amount of money in a equal period of time interval, in equal interval. It's called annuity, right? So for example, end of every year you are deposited 1000 say in 2020 January 1st deposit 10,000, January 1st 2021 deposit 10,000, same date in 2022 same amount, and same date in 2023 same amount, right? Same amount mean 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 every year, and also the interval between the two payments should be equal, right? It's called annuity, annual, right? The annuity, the word comes from annual, annuity. Annuity is a fixed payment or receipt each year for a specific number of years. Future value, right? Future value after n period of time for an annuity, right? For an annuity. A is a principal amount. A is a principal amount. 1 plus in minus 1 divided by I, right? Right. Right. So this is the formula. The term within the bracket is compound value factor. This is this value here. This value is a compound factor value factor for an annuity of rupees 1, which were shall refer as compound value factor annuity. So earlier it was CVF. Now it is converted as CVFA, compound value factor annuity of an annuity, right? Right. Suppose future value of an annuity example. Suppose that a firm deposit rupees 5,000 at end of each year for 4 years at 6% rate of interest. How much would this annuity accumulate at the end of fourth year, right? So read the question very carefully, right? You have to decide whether it's a simple future value or annuity future value. To decide that, you have to consider whether this payment is for a period of time in uh, the same amount of money deposited or one time deposit. Suppose that a firm deposit 5,000 at end of each year, right? The word each year, right? Deposit each year for 4 years at 6% rate of interest. How much would this annuity accumulate end of the fourth year, right? Now we will calculate annuity, right? 5,000 6 year at 5,000 4 years 6%. Yeah, annuity. Every year he pays 5,000, deposit 5,000. Rate of interest is 6%. Number of years 4, right? So when we draw in a diagram, it says like that: end of each year, right? Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, right? He deposit 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, end of third year, end of fourth year also 5,000. He deposited and it pays 6%, right? For 4 years. So we know that how do we calculate compound, right? So you can use this formula for each and every year, right? Then finally you can take that value. Or this shortcut is use compound fact compound value factor annuity, right? So the equation is A, right? A is mean how much you pay, 5,000 every year. You pay 5,000, right? And I 1 plus I in this example is 6%. It means 0.06, and the number of period is n. And yeah, n is 4 years, right? So this is simply we call what? Compound, sorry, not compound. Uh, yeah, compound value factor. Simple compound value factor, CVF. CVF, compound value factor, right? Then, so you have to add something, right? You have to minus, deduct 1, right? Minus 1. And you have divided by, and you have divided by rate of interest, that is 0.06. right? So look at this. Look at this. A here 5000. 1 plus I. 1 plus I is 0.06. N number of periods 4 minus 1 and divided by, so all the figures, all these values should be divided by I 0.06, right? So this is called uh, CVFA, right? CVFA, compound value factor annuity, right? Now let's see the answer. 4.7496. Now 6% at 4 possible end of each year for the 4 years. Is 4, no? So where's wrong? 1 plus I into 4 minus 1. Can you do this? Can you find this value within the bracket? Using manual calculator, how much? Yeah, the book answer is 4 point. Yeah,
Their compounding interest, annuity interest is 4.374616, sir.
yeah, that should be the answer. But in this calculation,
Yes.
there was some mistake. Where is it? Where it is?
Um,
Where? So I got 3.74. No, actually, actual answer,
yes.
it should be compound factor 4.375. So where the mistake is? That's a question. We will do step by step, right?
Bracket.
So we'll do it in by one by one. Equal 1 plus 0.06, right? The power 5. So the power, yeah, number of years 4, right? And minus 1. So this value minus 1, right? And this value should be divided by 0.06. Yeah, right. 4.3746. Is it right now? I made mistake. I don't know where. Right? So this value 1 plus I, right? This value. Then into the power n for this value here minus 1, and all this value should be divided by I. That is called that is what 0.06, right? Now we have identified CVFA, that is 4.3746. So A is 5000, A is 5,000. CVFA is 4.37461. Then future value of this annuity is A into CVFA 21,873. Right? Any questions? Any questions? Madhusanga? Madhusanga, you know there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you understood? Clear or not clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. Right. Then singing fund. Singing fund mean it's like annuity, but the difference is you need a certain amount of money in the future period. To achieve that amount, you have to deposit a certain amount of money, like annuity, right? So, for example, Madhusanga, Madhusanga,
Yes, sir.
when you are trying to get married in future after 5 years or 6 years or 2 years.
No, sir. I can't imagine.
No, for example, I want this information for the example to understanding what is singing.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. After how many years? Say 5 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You want you plan to get married after 5 years. Then how much you want money for that marriage function?
Minimum 5 lakhs.
5 lakhs, right? 5 lakhs. You want 5 lakhs in 5 years, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That time you can't take that 5 lakhs immediately. So therefore, from today onwards, you have open an account. You deposit a certain amount of money, equal amount of money, to achieve that five lakhs. From today, you plan to put money from that account, right? So every year 500, 500, 500, or 1,000 every month, or every week, or every 6 months, like that. Same amount of money, but the period should be equal, right? What's your target? You have to have
5
5
lakhs.
lakhs, 5 lakhs end of 5th year. To achieve that money, to achieve that amount, you have to put a certain amount of money. So how much you have to put? You don't know, no? You don't know. And now you don't know, isn't it? Now we will study how to calculate that amount. You want to know how much amount of money I have to put, I have deposit into a account every year, right? Have you understand the question? Others? No sound. Malsanga need 5 lakhs at end of 5th year. To achieve that money, he has deposit a certain amount of money uh, for a particular period of time interval, right? Singing fund is a fund which is created out of fixed payment, right? Fixed payment mean if it is thousand, it's thousand. It cannot be thousand, then 500, 700, 1,200, not like that. Thousand means thousand. Fixed payment each period to accumulate to a future sum, right? Future sum in this example, Madhusanga example is 500,000 after specified period. For example, companies generally create singing fund to retire bonds, debentures on maturity, right? The factor used to calculate the annuity for a given future sum is called singing fund factor. It's called singing fund factor, right? Here, this is the formula, sinking fund formula. Right. Let's see this example. Suppose a 20 years old student. Masanga, what is your age now?
24, sir.
21.
24, sir.
24.
Yes, sir.
At at this age, I have got permanent appointment job at 24. Right. Now you are studying, still.
Yes.
So sad. Right. Suppose a 20-year-old student wants to start saving for retirement. She plans to save rupees 3 a day. Every day she puts rupees 3 in her drawer, right? Every day he puts 3 rupees. At end of the year, she invests the accumulated saving 1095 in an online stock account. The stock account has expected annual rate of 12%. Right? When she was 65 years old, she will get 1,048,000. No, yeah, 1,487,261.89 rupees. So have you understand the question? This example, 20 years old, right, student want to start saving for retirement, right? He planned to retire at age 65. Now his age is 20. How many years plan? 45 years plan, isn't it? 45 years plan. She plan to save 3 rupees a day, right? Every day uh, he want to put 3 rupees every day, right? Every day he put 3 rupees in his drawer every day. She puts 3 rupees in her drawer at the end of each year, right? So 3 into 365 days, right? In a year there are 365 days. So 3 rupees into 365 equal 1095. So every year he has withdrawn the money from his drawer and he deposited into a saving account, online saving account, stock account, right? The stock account has an expected annual rate of 12%, right? If you put that money every year, 1095, it will give you 12% interest. So when she's 65 years old, she will get a 1,487,065. Right? This is not an exact example for singing fund, right? It's not a singing fund. Uh, so inverse, right? Inverse of this, right? Annuity equal future value 50 year. IO. So in the LMS I will upload some materials. You can find exact example for singing fund, right? So in this slide, it's not exactly singing fund. You have to calculate how much amount of money you have to deposit it. In this example, they have given you the amount he had deposited. But singing fund, they have to calculate how much every year they have to deposit it to achieve certain amount of money. In Europe and US, pension fund, right? So if a person joined on for the job at his age of 20, he will get retirement after 60 years. At age of 60, right? Then he expect that he will live for 80 up to 80 years. So he won 20 years gap without job. he should live for 20 years without any income. So he wanted to plan that from age of 60 to 80, he want to get a monthly income from a bank, right? So to that, he will be calculate that at the end of year 60, how much amount of money he put into the bank. From that investment, he will get interest every month. So that is actually singing fund, right? I will upload material. You can find example from that. This example simply is a calculating what and future value annuity, right? Annuity A is 1095 and R is 12. Number of period is how many? 45. Then you will get simply this 1.4 million. So, right? So here see this formula. A is a annuity. How much you have to deposit every year. You have to find this value based on this is what the expected amount, future value expected amount, I over 1 plus I with the power n minus 1. Now we will move to present value. Present value of future cash flow, inflow or outflow, is the amount of current cash that is of equivalent value to the decision maker, right? You will receive a certain amount of money in future after 5 years or 10 years or so. Then you have to convert this value into present value. Discounting, right? So compounding we have used to convert the present value to future value. So discounting is the compound. We have to use discounting to convert future value into present value. Discounting is the process of determining the present value of a series of future cash flows. The interest rate used for discounting cash flows is called discount rate. That's there. In future value we have used compound rate. Here we use discount rate. Right? Discount rate. Right. The interest rate is used for discounting cash flows is called as the discount rate. Right. Formula to calculate present value of a lump sum to be received after some period of time, right? Present value equal future value divided by 1 plus in. Simply fn equal, so to calculate present value, so fn future value 1 plus I here is what? Minus n. Minus n is mean here. You may study it in mathematics. Minus 1. So 1 over, right? So 1. The term in the parenthesis, it's a bracket, is the discount factor or present value factor. So in future value, we have used CVF, compound value factor. Here we will use present value factor. And it is always less than 1, right? For the annuity, so for the future value, it should be always more than 1. For the present value, it is always less than 1. For the positive I meaning interest rate, indicating that the future amount has a smaller present value, right? So it means you will get rupees 100 rupees after 1 year. then what's the value today? Definitely it is less than 100, right? Yeah, the present value equal fn, future value, into future value factor ni, number of periods into I, rate of interest. In MS Excel, use PV function, present value, rate, number of periods, PMT, annuity, the future value, the type. Sorry. Example. Suppose an investor wants to find out the present value of rupees 50,000 to be received after 15 years. Right? A person will receive 50,000 after 15 years. Her interest rate is 9%. Right? First, we will find out the present value factor, which is 0.275. Multiplying 0.275 by 50,000, we obtain rupees 15,750 as a present value. Let us discuss using this example, right? Yeah. Right, this is the formula, and the question is right, this is the question, right? Suppose that an investor want to find out the present value of rupees 50,000. Present value of rupees 50,000 mean future value is 50,000, right? Future value. It means he will receive after 15 years 50,000. So future value is 50,000, right? After how many years? 15 years, right? What's the rate of interest? Is 9%. He want what is the present value? What is the present value of this 50,000? Right? Simply, this is the formula, right? This is the formula. Present value equal future value divided by 1 plus I into the power n. Simply, we can put it is 1 over 1 plus, right? Simply, we can put 1 divided by 1 over 1 plus r I, right? I into the power number of periods, right? We can put it, right? Right. In the formula, 1 is 1, right? 1 should be divided by 1 plus I is 0.9, 0.09, 9%. For how many years? 15 years, right? 15 years. So now we have find out this value. The future value is 50,000. This is future value. So this is present value factor. right? Present value factor, right? Present value factor, right? 1 over 1 plus 0.09 into the year power 15. Zero point 27454. Then present value equal this value into 13,726 here. In this answer, it gives 13,750, right? Our answer is so. What is the reason for the differences? What's the reason for this difference? What is the reason? Ishuru, what is the reason for this difference? Ishuru, you know there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yeah. So what's the difference? What's the reason for this difference? Book answer and calculation answer, our answer.
I think it's the present decimal places
Yeah, exactly.
rounding error, sir.
Yeah, rounding. So therefore, in exam purpose, you round it, you figure into maximum 3 decimals or 4. So in here we have taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decimals, right? So therefore, that's the reason for this difference. Anyhow, both answers are correct. So this answer is mostly correct than this. Both of them are correct, right? Any questions? Anything to ask? Right. Now we will find the present value of an annuity. So as I told you earlier, it's the same amount of money will be deposited in the same interval of time. So that is annuity. So earlier in the future value we have calculated what is the future value of that annuity. Now we will study the present value of such annuity. Right? The computation of the present value of an annuity can be written in the following general formula, right? Yeah, 1 minus future value of an annuity, PVAF, present value of an annuity. 1 plus R. Wait, I have my own formula. 1 plus R over N minus 1 plus R N minus R. Right. This is the formula. So I have my own formula, a simplified formula. How can I 1 plus 1 yeah 1 minus 1. The term within this parenthesis, the bracket, is the present value factor and annuity, right? Earlier we have calculated compound value factor annuity. Now we will study future present value factor annuity factor. The term within the parenthesis is the present value factor of an annuity of ₹1, which would call PVFA, present value factor annuity, and it is a sum of single payment present value affected, right? And I have my own formula, so how can I show you? Anyhow, I try to do this. Suppose you have borrowed rupees, you have borrowed a 3-year loan of rupees 10,000 at 9% from your employer to buy a motorcycle. If your employer requires three equal end of year repayment, the annual installment will be, right? Now you have to calculate installment. You have, say, we have received a loan 10,000 from your boss in a company, workplace. So 3 years loan. We have to pay this loan every year, end of every year at 9% of rate of interest, right? Simply, so the formula is my formula. It's easy to remember. 1 over, first we divide, first we calculate. First we will use the book formula, then we'll go for my formula. Without whiteboard is very difficult to explain, right? Anyhow, we will manage it, right? The future value that is A, right? Annuity. Future value of an annuity factor. That is for 10,000. And I is 9%, and the number of period is 3 years, right? Now we will find out what is the installment annuity, right? Present value of an annuity, right? So according to this formula, 1 divided by I, that is 0.09, right? 0.09 minus 1 over I is 0.09 into 1 plus 0.09 to the power 3, right? And here we put 1 over, right, equal 1 over 2.531, right? And A is 10,000, right? A is 10,000 into 150. And 3,951. It's difficult, right? It's difficult. Due to this difficulty, I have improved this. I have simplified this formula into different way for the exam purpose, right? This is the actual formula. So I have converted this formula like this, so I can use whiteboard, right? For 1 over 1 plus R, which means I. So it's called what? Present value factor, right? Present value factor. Then 1 minus again R. It's very easy. So this is equal present PVIF A. Present value interest factor annuity, right? Present value interest factor annuity, right? We will use this formula. We'll use this formula. Okay, simple, right? It's very simple. First, we have to calculate present value of interest factor, right? Present value of interest factor. So you know that 1 over 1 plus 0.09, 0.09, the power, how many years? 3 years, right? Now we have identified this value, right? Present value. This is called what? Present value. Present value factor. Present value factor, right? Now what we have to do is, first we have to deduct this.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, please show the Excel sheet.
Yeah, Excel sheet. Can't you see the Excel sheet?
No, sir.
Oh, okay, sorry. Right. Right. I will do it again, right? Right. First, according to this formula, first we have to find the PVF, present value factor. That is easy. 1 over 1 plus R, that is 0.09 power 3 years, right? 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 1 plus, right? Then we have to deduct from 1, equal 1 minus this value, right? 1 minus PVF. Then we divide this value into, yeah, we divide this value by R, then equal this value divided by is R, that is 0.09. So 2.53. So see the answer. Compare these two. See this and this. Both are correct or different answers. Have you understood how to calculate? Right? So both of them are the answer, right? So this is my formula. This is book formula, right? Right, now we have identified PVIFA. PVIFA we have identified. Now we know that present value is 10,000, right? We have to settle down 10,000 in 3 years, right? So the question is how much we have to pay every month, every year. We have to complete, we have to settle down this 10,000 in 3 years, 3 installments. So how do we calculate installment? 10,000 divided by PVIFA equal, so every year he should pay 3,950. 3,950, right? So this is the way. Sometimes we call as loan amortization. Have you heard about this loan amortization? Leasing payments. Clear? Is it clear? Oh, still difficult to understand.
Clear, sir.
Any questions we can ask? So I go very slowly because these understandings are very important for the future studies. Same subject and other. If you are doing specialization in finance, it's very important, this basic understanding. In our period, we are facing very difficulties to understanding this basic concept. Lecturers not teach very clearly. Therefore, we have struggled in many areas, many times. So then we go back and did a self-study. Right. Here, capital recovery. Capital recovery is the annuity of an investment made today for a specific period of time at a given rate of interest. A capital recovery factor help in the preparation of loan amortization, loan repayment schedule. So leasing, people are buying car, right? People are buying car for in leasing, so they have to pay leasing installment. So that installment is based on this formula, right? So A is an annuity. Annuity is an installment. Installment equal present value. So you have to put the price of that vehicle, leasing vehicle amount 1 over PVAF. So I have given a formula on my own formula. Own formula I have referred somewhere and I have developed that. So PVAF. So based on this formula, you can calculate, right? The reciprocal of the interest value of vector is called CRF. So here earlier we have used present value of present value, right? Annuity PVAF. Now A is come here, P is here. Right. I think it's enough today. We will continue on Friday or next Wednesday, right? So I'll upload materials on LMS. There are some questions. Please do it. Right? Anything to ask? Any questions? Okay. If anything else, you can ask. If nothing,